What is up, Heifas and friends? Welcome to another episode of Java and Journeys with Jillian. If you're new here to this channel, hi, my name is Jillian. How are you? So the Festival of the Arts is almost about to wrap up, and Epcot is getting ready for the Flower and Garden Festival, which is coming right around the corner. And I know the last visit that I had here, which check that video out if you haven't already, we tried a lot of the drinks and the eats, and honestly, I was very underwhelmed, though I had a good time. The art was incredible, as it always is. So we are here before the Festival of the Arts wraps up to try a few more treats, and honestly, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not feeling too optimistic, but we'll see. I'm actually already mentally prepared for the Flower and Garden and the festivities that are gonna come along with that. But who knows, maybe this visit, the food will surprise us. I know sometimes there could be off days with certain things that you have, but we're gonna try some new things before Festival Arts wraps up. So let's go ahead and get on this journey. And while we are walking and on our way, we see another sign here, and I am going to miss the nice touches, right, of the Festival of the Arts, but you're going to start seeing elements of the Flower and Garden. I'll take you all over here, and you can already see across from the Journey to Imagination Pavilion that you have this sunflower setup. It's actually so beautiful. And of course, I'm going to take you all back out here for Flower and Garden. I love all the festivals at Epcot. Epcot is my favorite park personally, because I just think it's the one that you can get the most enjoyment, just having a good walk around. But I am looking forward to it and seeing what kind of treats await us. But I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate on Festival of the Arts. We're gonna be optimistic. We're going to have an open mind and see what we can get into. So let's go ahead and try to find our first bite. All right, so we are at Fictional Victuals, and we are going to actually try a few things. One is a butterscotch milkshake, another is a charred octopus, and then the third item is going to be a squid ink pasta. Y'all pray for me because, and here's a quick little, well, I'll try to flip the camera around to give you all a quick glimpse of the offering. So I'll show you all when I get through ordering, or my co-producer orders. But you all know, I'm a little nervous because it's seafood, so hopefully it won't taste too fishy and it will taste fresh, so we'll see. Okay, y'all, we just got our food, and I'll show you all the sign once we are coming back around to try another one of the other stalls. But to give you a shot here is our charred octopus here, and you have some fingerling potatoes as well as our squid ink pasta. This has lump crab in it as well as cremini mushrooms. And then we have our butterscotch milkshake, which looks absolutely wild. So I'm looking forward to tucking into this, and we are just going to pray extra hard that the seafood does not taste fishy. Let's get into it. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to be starting with the squid ink pasta. I'm a little shook. It's actually really good. And I've had squid ink pasta before, and it's quite delightful. I like the sauce in this, and the crab tastes good. I like the crunch at the top. The mushrooms in it too, it all kind of flows together. I do wish it was a bit warmer, but I get it. When it comes to these festivals, they're plating everything. They're trying to get things out, so I'm not going to hold that against them too much. But the flavor of this is on. I'm going to actually take another bite one more time for the gram. And it's hard for me to describe the exact taste of squid ink pasta. If you're not a fan and lover of seafood, obviously I would tell you not to get it. It kind of reminds me of a culmination of different types of seafood, if that makes any sense. You get the brininess. It actually reminds me a lot of a little bit of a scallop flavor. But that's actually quite good. I'm shook.
This is the mac and cheese.
And we're going to get into the octopus. I think this is actually a fingerling potato. Y'all, the flavor, that is, as the kids say, it slaps. I don't like slaps. Do you all like slaps? I'm not into that. I do say bro quite a bit. I've caught myself saying that. I just love the flavor. It's like that a nice like tomato sauce. Mm. I want to say I got like a little bit of sausage, which is good. Here's our octopus. Not too tough, which that's the problem with octopus. It's very easy to overcook and for it to just have a really tough exterior to chew through. But this is good, y'all. Are our minds going to be blown today? Or the Festival of Art's going to be closing on a high note for us? Like, I just love all the flavors that are going. It's a nice, like, spice. Like, nothing that's too overly spicy, but you get, like, a nice kick. All right. So y'all know that oftentimes, if I can remember, I like to rate things out of a 5. I would say the octopus, I would probably give that like a solid 3. The squid ink pasta, I would give that like a 3.5. Those are both very solid. And I would say on the end of the things that I've had here at the Festival of Arts, definitely on the higher end of the foods that I could recommend, especially if they do decide to bring these specific dishes back next year. And let's get into this butterscotch milkshake, which this is something my co-producer picked out, so cheers. Let's see if this is good, because it looks a little crazy. It's solid. It's butterscotch. That's immediately what I taste. You have like a nice like creamy vanilla aftertaste to it. I like butterscotch, though. I'm not a huge butterscotch person, but that is good. And also you'll see here, which I was trying to be careful, it's a little loose. It's not super thick. So if you love your shakes to be on a bit of a thicker side, this is a bit more loose. And I don't know, again, if it's because when they dispensed it, they left it sitting for a moment just so they can quickly like hand this out to someone who orders it. That's quite possibly the case. But the flavor is totally there, nice and cold. So also something else I probably would give like maybe like a solid 3. So we're starting off on like a good note. I am really shook. So on our way to the next one, I did want to show you the sign so that way you can get an idea of the cost and what exactly is supposed to be in each of the items that we tried. And then you make your way down here, you'll see the beverages. Again, y'all, I am really shook. And something that I do want to point out that my co-producer actually noted, which is on point, and I should have also like added this in my first comments. It was kind of hard for me in the octopus dish to find the octopus. So for that to be like the purpose of the dish, they did not actually put a lot of octopus in it. It was a lot of the fingerling potatoes and the sausage, which all of it was cooked well. But I think in hindsight, the more I think about that, I probably would then like take like a 0.5 off of that. So probably more of a 2.5, but not because of flavor, but just because what was supposed to be in there, a lot of it was missing, aka the octopus. So moving on though, I'm quite like shook. And in front of us, you'll see the Aztec pyramid, and then going over here, you'll see some of the other dishes. Let's go around to the other side. This will give you an idea of the menu here. So this is El Artista Hambranito. I don't know if I'm going to try anything at this one, but I mean, the food does look good. I think the most interesting thing is probably the croqueta. Carne asada is carne asada. And then natilla de mas. That one sounds pretty interesting too. Y'all, we are passing through the Mexico Pavilion. And here is a little bit of a closer look of the Aztec pyramid, where they also had the Grand Fiesta tour, which is quite cute. And y'all, I have to say, I know I tell you all this, and I'm telling you this because I'm also trying to tell myself this. It could be so hard sometimes to just not want to push someone. Like, I have to tell you, the biggest thing, if you come to Disney, and for those of you all that are very unfamiliar, and I would say this is just good etiquette in any type of place, whether it's like a carnival, fair, any place that's subject to large crowds, if you need to stop to check your phone or stop to get someone's attention or anything, just, move yourself over to the side. Don't just stop when you have like throngs of people behind you. We're just going to breathe. We're going to breathe. But I'm telling you all, sometimes your girl feels like she's getting a little pressed, panini pressed.
That's Sophia's dad.
But we're going to keep it moving.
The big guitar guy.
And as we walk on, we were just talking about that corn custard, essentially, that had the popcorn topping. And very interested in it, but that line was very massive. So we may try to come back and catch that, but not entirely sure. And while we're contemplating our life choices, look at this view. I think you just have to find a good place to focus your attention to kind of recenter yourself in moments of frustration at Disney. But I also love that we're passing by Norway right now. And I love the whole Viking gift shop here. And of course we have the infamous Frozen ride over in this area, as well as some treats you can also get here. After we did the Disney 5K, which check that out if you haven't, we actually came over here and tried one of the, I think it was a stole bread. It was really good, and I never tried it before. I actually never really ventured over into the gift shop or the quick service restaurant that they have over here. So yeah, I was quite thrilled to get something quite tasty. It was so nice because it was way early in the morning and there wasn't really anyone here. So it was just nice to be able to pop in and enjoy the lack of crowds briefly. Y'all, I promise you I had the best kitchen. I don't know what got into me that possessed me. Actually, I do know what. So, like a crazy person, I decided to try and test doing a live stream at Magic Kingdom. So check out that live stream, first one, and I'm like, why not? Why not go to Magic Kingdom, the most popular Disney park, on a Saturday? It actually, though it was very crowded and busy, it was a delightful time for me in terms of just recording live and getting used to what the flow is. But y'all, I think myself, my co-producer, my sister, we're all feeling just a little bit tired. It is packed, and you all can see it's a Saturday at Epcot. And so we're just going to take a quick little pause, and I will check back in with you all one of the evenings coming up during the weekday when it's not as stressful, because I also want to try a few more things. And the Festival of the Arts is wrapping up actually next week, which by the time you all see this, the Festival of Arts would have already wrapped. But I just want to make sure to try a few more things. We have to close out on a high note. And honestly, that squid ink pasta and octopus has actually renewed my hope and faith that we can close this out on a good note. So I'm going to check back in with you all when I'm back during the weekday in the evening. Hey everyone, so it is Tuesday night, and in my glorious HEPA fashion, y'all, we are done with the Festival of the Arts. And I know you're like, girl, you told us that you were coming back because it was so crowded. I said that and I had meant it. Y'all, the weather was so horrible yesterday. It was raining, and unfortunately I wasn't able to make it back out. And yesterday was the last day, which yesterday, I should say, is Monday. I am so sorry, guys, that I wasn't able to kind of give some finale point to it. So we are going to think about our life choices as we are getting on Spaceship Earth. I totally am really going to think long and hard. Y'all know life happens. stuff happens, and when the weather is bad in Florida, I'm just not in the mood to get out. I am not that girl. I'm not that girl yet to do things that do not bring me happiness for the sake of views and clicks and all of that. We haven't gotten to that point of desperation at the moment. So, y'all, I'm like, you know what? I will meditate. I'll think about my life choices. I'm going to take you all with me on Spaceship Earth. And you know what? All is not lost. Why? Because your girl's still going to hook you up. So we're still waiting on Flower and Garden to start up. I'll show you all, as I did in my earlier footage, of some of the areas where they're already starting to prep for the festival. And in the meantime, we're still going to have some good eats, y'all. We are at Epcot. We are going to have a good time. I am not going to do you dirty. So come with me as we get on Spaceship Earth. Right. We are going to get on. Y'all, I have a small rant alert. Let me get on this ride before I fall. I'm going to talk some shit. Okay, y'all, we have gotten on to Spaceship Earth successfully. We are ascending up and away. And y'all, let me tell you something. I'm going to rant while we are on this ride for 2 seconds, okay? First of all, there was this group of people in front of me, and y'all, I get it. I understand how exciting it is. All right, babes, I had to take my photo. If you are broken up from your party and your party starts running up, like, y'all, this time in the evening, Spaceship Earth is practically a walk-on. Just wait before you get in the queue for your full party to be together, because I was trying to talk with you all while walk up at the same time, and there was just chaos and confusion because they were trying to get their other party up with them, and I'm like, baby, just step out of the queue. It is okay. All right, rant over. We're going to enjoy this little ride. I'm going to show you all some highlights of Spaceship Earth. I'll show you how. I hope you all enjoyed some of that ride footage. We are going to move forward. I will say that being on Spaceship Earth, because it is so beautiful and such a calming ride, it reminds me a little bit of like a little museum, little mini museum exhibit in motion, that it has a way of like calming your nerves. So maybe getting onto the ride was a little bit frustrating, but by the time we got off, I'm feeling good. And we are going to actually head into World Showcase. I think we're going to grab some fish and chips. We're also going to grab some nosh too throughout some of the countries. And y'all, though it is not Festival of Arts, hopefully it'll feel a little bit like it, because we're still going to try some food, let you know what, at least I say my thoughts are. And of course my co-producer has some interesting thought. I'll share his perspective on it as well. But yeah, let's get this show on the road. So y'all, I know it's hella dark, and this, again, trifling heifer, I know, excuse me. But just to show you little glimpses of the Flower and Garden Festival that's going to be upcoming, here is our Phineas and Ferb topiary with some beautiful flowers in the backdrop. And you know what? This is fitting because we'll show you the grand reveal of what it looks like in all its glory when we come back. But it's exciting to see the Flower and Garden Festival start to come to life. And though I do not have a green thumb whatsoever, I do appreciate beautiful flowers and gardens, and I love a good garden. I like, if I could spend all day in a beautiful park with flowers, or in like some garden, like Japanese gardens, anything like that, totally my vibe. Can I grow anything? Absolutely not. Well, I could keep some things alive. There are a couple plants that I've had since I lived in Seattle, which it's been a few years since I've lived in Seattle, that are still alive. I'm impressed with myself. I have one little plant that I actually got from IKEA, but that I've had for so many years, and somehow I've managed to keep it alive, and it's beautiful and it's thriving. And then I also have a little tree. So I'm doing what I can to keep what I have alive, but I can't, like, it's tough. I will plant something, more often than not, it dies. So I know that when I'm able to keep something alive for longer than like 6 months, it's truly meant to be. And on the way over to the England pavilion, we are actually going to grab some maple popcorn from Canada. And you all know how I feel about this. Like, I think World Showcase looks so gorgeous at night. And fun fact too, with the maple popcorn, this is only the, I think, like second time I've ever gotten it. Typically because the line is insane, and I like traditional popcorn, but since the line is like a little to nothing, like we're right here, we're just gonna go ahead and grab some on the way. And here is our maple popcorn, nice and hot. Gonna try a bite. Oh my gosh, y'all, the maple popcorn, my husband and I were just talking about this. This batch is so much better than the first batch that I ever tried. It tastes very fresh. It's nice and hot. If you are a fan of kettle corn, you will absolutely love this. And also another fun fact to share, that if you have a popcorn bucket, the maple popcorn actually counts as a refill. So if you are going to spend multiple days at Disney, I highly recommend get yourself a popcorn bucket, not one of the fancy ones. I mean, you can get a fancy one like the Prince Charming carousel one that I showed you, the Halloween popcorn bucket that I showed you all when we went to the Not So Scary party. Those popcorn buckets are fun, the souvenir popcorn buckets, if you will. But you don't need to have that to make your popcorn refill dreams come true. Honey, get yourself a basic bucket, and hopefully, depending on what time of year you're here, the design is to your liking. But get yourself one of those, and you can even refill your popcorn up at like Disney Springs. It's really awesome. And the refills are like, what, $2.50, right? $2.50. And you can get as many refills as you want, honey. $2.50 a pop. That, of course, is after you purchase the bucket. And this is unlike Disneyland. Disneyland, you do not get the hookup like that. That is the one beef that I have. But I also recognize that Disneyland is much smaller, and the volume of customers that they have coming in and out is not the same as the volume here. So I understand that some of the perks and benefits are slightly different. And we have another flower and garden preview. So over here, it looks like we have Peter Pan and Captain Hook. Again, another cool sighting, and I absolutely cannot wait to see the full decor of the Flower and Garden Festival when that comes around. And as I started walking off, I mean, come on now, we have the TikTok croc here, and he's just waiting for Captain Hook. He's waiting to take that other hand, honey. But this is so much fun. I love the topiaries, and like I just said, I cannot wait to see the other topiaries they're going to bring out this year. And as we approach the England Pavilion, let me also say that, like, y'all, night and day difference in terms of weather than when we were here over the weekend. And it's not nearly, it's still busy, but the crowd is a lot more easier to move around than it was when we were here. And I was just like, yeah, no, gots to go, can't do it. But here we are approaching the Rose and Crown, and we're actually going to do just the quick service outside the fish shop that's up ahead and get our fish and chips. And I've never had the fish and chips here, so another fun fact. I'm full of fun facts tonight. So I'm looking forward to trying this out and seeing how good it is. Here we are right on the outside, Yorkshire County. And I would try to humor you all with some form of a British accent, but I don't want to offend any of my watchers in the UK, because as soon as I try it, you all are going to be like, it's a chop. We're done. We're unsubscribing. Please don't unsubscribe. Which, by the way, have you commented? Have you shared? Have you subscribed? Girl, come on. What are you waiting on? And I see our fish and chips over there in the corner. I hope they're good, and that if they're sitting out, they still taste fresh. Get into the fish and chips. Y'all, I know it is super dark, so please bear with me, but come on now. Look at how big. Thank you. My co-producer just hooked me up with some lighting, y'all. But look at how big this piece of fish, and like the big steak fries. This looks so good. I cannot wait to tuck in. All right, here is my bit of fish. Check out the inside. It looks super flaky. It is very hot. So even if it has been sitting for a little bit, I will say it has a nice like crispiness to it. I'm going to dip this in a little bit. Actually, before we dip it in tartar sauce, let's try it as is. Did you hear that crunch? It is a crunch heard from around the world. One more time for the gram. Super crunchy. I will say, and this is the end piece, mostly batter than fish. So I think once I get into the bigger pieces of the cod, obviously more fish, hopefully, than batter. But the batter is nice and crispy. It has a good flavor to it. It doesn't taste like it's been cooked in like old oil. Have you ever had fried fish that you can tell that the place you got your fish from hasn't changed their oil in a long time? This is not the case. It is very oily though, along those same lines, but I'll take oily and good flavor than oily and taste fishy and stale. Also, for all my UK people out there, what is the texture of chips, right? Because my co-producer and I were talking about this, and I tried a couple of the chips, and some of them, like some of the pieces were crispy, and then some are not as crispy. And then I was like, I think that there are some of these chips that need to cook a little bit longer. But I don't know, like, how are fish and chips meant to be? Are they meant to be like extra crispy, or like what? Like, drop it in the comments if you're from the UK, or if you are a connoisseur of fish and chips, let me know. But I'm gonna continue to get into this because this is very oily. I wanna be careful with like touching the fish and then the camera. So I'm going to get back in touch with you all as soon as we're done and we're heading over to the next spot. All right, we are walking over the bridgeway over into France, and to share some final thoughts about the fish and chips. So again, super crispy, absolutely. Overall, I would give it a solid 3. And so, you know, when I showed you all the like inner layer of the cod, definitely throughout the whole thing, it was more breading than fish, although the fish was good. It was flaky. And again, the breading was tasty, but I wish it just had like more fish, less breading. And, you know, in classic England style, typically fish and chips are sold in like newspaper. And I really feel like they need something like that to absorb some of the grease, because it was hella greasy. And I think with the chips, they definitely need some salt. But again, like, I am not disappointed by that meal. So I would recommend trying it, but just understand that, is it the best fish and chips? No. But is it on the better side of theme park fish and chips? Not that I commonly eat seafood at all in a theme park. Absolutely. So on to the next. We're actually in the France Pavilion now, and we are going to try a sweet crepe. And I will probably wrap it up there, guys. I think we're going to go see Impressions de France, because I have not seen that in a while. And then I think we're going to just do a little more walking, head out, maybe get on the Gardens of the Galaxy ride. We'll see. But I'm going to hook you all up with one more food offering here at Epcot, and then leave you all to have an excellent evening. And again, like, y'all, look how beautiful this is. I can't. And it kind of sucks with the economy being the way it is and so much stuff in turmoil here in the US. It's funny, I was texting one of my friends because he watched my video when we went to Tapanado, and he and I have like aspirations and dreams to go to Japan. And I was like, listen, this is the closest to Japan that we're going to get in this economy. I truly don't believe that we are going to make our way over to Japan, but France is also one of those other countries, because I look at this and I know it's Disney's interpretation of these countries, but there is some semblance of truth to these things, right? Like Imagineers are not going to put something together that's half-assed and completely lacking some sense of representation. So I am excited one day to be able to jet set. Your girl is truly going to be on a journey, and you know I'm going to take you all with me. And to make that happen, come on now, help me with the algorithm, hit that like button. So we are over by Le Crêperie de Paris, and you of course see Ratatouille, which the ride is down at the moment, but we are actually going to, instead of going to the restaurant, we're going to stand in line in the quick service queue. And we just ordered our crepe. We are actually going to go for a red berries crepe, so something a little bit on the sweeter side to top off our evening with the fish and chips. But y'all, do you ever get the impression that French people do not want to F with us? I could just tell, because I believe in people who are Disney heads, like, please correct me if I'm wrong, but especially at Epcot, at the countries, they have cast members from the actual country here to provide, you know, an even more immersive experience. And y'all, I could just tell the cast members that were checking this out, because there were some, you know, a few annoying folks, but, you know, behavior that wasn't too crazy. But they just look like they are not trying to F with us. Like, please make your order and be on your way. I don't need to talk with you. Are you done? Are you finished? Let's move it. And they weren't that rude. I don't want to get that impression, but it's just like the vibe. And there isn't like this smiling, and granted, this is all getting toward the end of the day too, but it isn't like that whole like smile, welcome. And again, I'm not even going to try to do the French accent. I don't want to make myself look like an even bigger idiot. But it's not that like Southern hospitality thing. And I personally am great, because I'm like, I'm not trying to F with us either. But I could just tell that they're just like, please shoot. Okay, you ordered, shoot, get out of the way, please, you silly American. So I don't know, I just get that vibe. And also, like, while we're talking some shit right now, are you all peeping out the new season of 90 Day Fiancé? I bring that up because one of the cast members of 90 Day Fiancé, she is from France. She's a black woman. I believe her name is Mina. And Mina is truly like what you think of in terms of French culture. And now, granted, I've just seen snippets of the show, because I tend to watch a lot more recaps than I do like sitting down watching a full episode, because sometimes I just don't have time for all that. And some of the YouTubers that I watch that recap are absolutely hilarious. Like, it's more entertaining to me sometimes to watch them recap than it is for me to sit down and watch the full show. But Miss Mina is living in some rural area now. Her husband is older gentleman, has money, and the family's concerned that she's just with him. But she already has a kid, and now she wants another one with this man. I don't know. We'll see how the drama plays out. But I bring her up because she was like not having it. He has this beautiful big house, his own private like plane that he flies, but he also is a professional pilot. And she was just like, where are the things to do? Where are the young people? You know, she is speaking French, and like, that's her culture, right? Like, I, again, as someone who's never been to France, looking at French film and seeing things about France, like, it truly feels like a vibe, right? Like, you're immersed, you have the public transportation, bustling city, and you're just like in the thick of it. I cannot wait to experience cafe culture in France. I don't even think my little spirit is ready for that, but I cannot wait, because that would be taking Java and Journeys to a whole nother level. But she was just like, this rural environment, it's not for me. It's going to be really fascinating to see how all of that plays out. So if you all are 90 Day Fiancé heads and that is something that you would actually like to talk about, I am going to start kicking off Walk and Talk Wednesdays. I'm going to try to do it every week as long as the weather permits. But the walk and talk is just me going through the park, and we're going to talk our shit. We are going to just talk about crazy pop culture things. It doesn't have to be Disney related. Disney is just providing us with the ambiance, honey. And so it's just, you know, a way for me to connect with you all and have a nice walk in it, right? Like, we eat a lot, so we also believe in getting our workout on. So join me. I will be kicking that off by the time this is posted. I would have already done, I think, at least 1 or 2 walk and talks, but I will be making posts when I am planning on going live. So keep track, check out my posts, and join me on a walk and talk. And if you have any topics that come to mind that you would like to talk about, drop down in the comments, let me know. All right, y'all, here is our red berry crepe. I'm not gonna hold you. I thought that there would be fruit on top of this and not just kind of like a gel or a syrup, but I'm gonna give this benefit of the doubt. It is very, very, very warm, which is not bad on a evening like tonight. So I'm gonna tuck in and let you all know how this tastes. And the fruit is not on the outside because obviously it's on the inside. I know y'all are like, you ignorant heifer, you should know better than that. Y'all, you know I'm not that ignorant. I knew that for it to be a berry crepe, that obviously our people would not do us dirty and not give us a crepe with actual fruit. We are making our way over to the Norway Pavilion, where I am actually going to try the Viking coffee. That's right. I know you all did not think I was going to leave you hanging without infusing some Java into our lives. I have never had the Viking coffee before. My co-producer just literally told me about it, so I am looking forward to ending on that note. While we're walking, let's talk a little bit about the crepes. The crepe was good. Biggest complaint about it was that it was so hot when we initially got it, and when we started digging into it, the berries were actually quite cold. So it was weird, like, temperature difference. So I'm hoping that they didn't feel like they need to like rush it or whatever. I also thought it was really sweet, in all honesty, and this is probably not popular opinion at all. Though it was tasty, I actually could have used like less of the fruit jelly, or not jelly, but the fruit syrup that was at the top. I could have used less of that and just went off of the blueberries alone. And maybe, honestly, this is what I would have liked for it to have been. And maybe this is like very Parisian of me, as someone like Heffa, please. How would you know about that? I don't. This is me guessing. I would have actually liked to have had a nice cream, like at the top, whether it's like some type of whipped cream or clotted cream, and just the berries on the inside. Maybe just a very light drizzle of the fruit syrup, and that thing would have been fire. Especially the temperature would have been even all the way through, and not like a hot exterior but then like cold fruit on the inside, which I don't think that was the intention. So I would probably give that like a 2.5. Would I recommend it? Sure, if you have a craving for something that's fruit. The blueberries were very plump and juicy, but again, I just thought it was a bit too sweet for me, but still good, and I just wish the temperatures were a bit more even on it. Anywho, let's make our way over to Norway and get some Viking coffee. All right, friends, we are officially in Norway, and we are going to get our coffee. And I've only ever been back here in terms of to get refreshments. One other time, this was after the 5K, we got some school bread over here, which was really good. But I have not ever gotten the Viking coffee. And here's some more pastry over here. Here is our Viking coffee. This looks so yummy, and we got ours with alcohol in it. It has a mixture of Baileys and one other liqueur. I cannot wait to try this out. We also got the almond kringla, which I had my first kringla actually from Trader Joe's, and peep out my first food haul, which was a Publix and Trader Joe's combo, and that was delicious. And so you can peep out this kringla, and they had this also with chocolate at the top, but I was really interested in the almond just to get give a little bit of crunch. So with that being said, guys, you know how we do things over here at Java and Journeys. Thank you for joining me. Cheers. Oh, girl, that is good, but it is strong. I believe after tasting that other liqueur they have is Kahlua. It's definitely Kahlua in there. And I think when you have the frozen version, give it a good stir. I'm going to stir this up and let you all know what else I think about it. Also, they have this drink hot, but you know, I want to do it for the gram. You know, I had to give you all a good looking coffee drink. So I'm going to enjoy this, take a couple bites of the Kringle, and we'll close out our Epcot adventure. All right, friends, Luminous is about to start. So we are gonna go ahead and wrap up as we're making our way out the park, and I have my Kringle here that I'm munching on. What did we learn today on Java and Journeys? Well, we learned that French people are probably not effing with the majority of us. Touché. We also learned that your girl, somehow, some way, though her best efforts, is a day late and $1 short. Y'all, we're gonna try Festival of the Arts in its entirety next year when it comes along. Till then, thank you for joining me on this delicious journey. This part 1, Festival of the Arts, part 2, Festival of Jillian trying to get her life together while simultaneously entertaining you all at the same time. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Catch you on the next journey. Bye.